The audience that I've developed over the last few months with the new version of the podcast, Elena, I know
Mhm.
will be very appreciative to see you and meet you and hear you at this stage in your life. You got a lot of good stuff going on as always, but you seem to be having more fun.
Yes, indeed. When you get things done, you start being assigned to all kinds of new things, right? Because companies are interested in what you do. So,
Yes. In fact, as I was preparing for you, reading some of your posts over the last year, when you got your promotion with Northrop, you
mhm.
mentioned, when you solve problems, they want you to solve more problems.
Indeed, that's right.
As we're getting into this podcast, I want people who haven't had the benefit of the other podcasts just to get a glimpse of you and where you came from, because one of the most interesting things about you, Elena, is Romania and where you came from and how you just overcame so many obstacles. And, when I think of you, the visual picture I get is that young girl whose assignment it was to go get the milk in the middle of the night and stand in that sub freezing temperature and getting to the front of the line and there is no milk.
Yep. That was my life. And by the way, because it was so cold and I did not have good clothes, I'll get pneumonias and bronchitis many times.
How often did this happen? Because I mean, can you give us a little bit of understanding of what was going on and how old you were?
Everything was rationalized after 1980s in Romania. The milk was part of it, 1 liter per person. So if you had 4 people in the home and you bought just 1 liter, you will finish everything in one day. My father will raise chickens at the place he was working as a nurse in a village just to give us protein. The milk will come at 5 o'clock, and if we are not in line by 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll not be able to buy milk. In the winter, cold, sometimes snowing, and this happened until 1989 when the revolution came. But after revolution came was worse because we had huge inflation. The inflation was like with the money that you could do things for 6 months, you barely can do things for 1 month. It was very crazy. It was really crazy. And I remember after the revolution going around town walking because I did not have money for bus tickets or no way I had a car. Did not matter the weather to find cheaper food. I'll go to the fresh market, which was cheaper. And I remember carrying in both hands like 10, 15 kilos, which would be about 25 pounds. Like walking, try to take the tram when I had money just to have food to cook and not to be too expensive. And I would count every cent.
Wow. And even with your description, I'm sure that's only the half of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But because of overcoming these kind of challenges and not being willing to give up, it built resilience. Like even at work, I will tell you that not everyone buys in what I'm doing, right? So sometimes people become negative. They don't want to help you. I don't get bogged down by this. I keep going. It's the time of the year when you get feedback, right? And you do the reviews. And I asked several of the leaders, directors, EPs to give me feedback so I can see what I'm doing well and what I need to improve. I have a few items to improve, which is expected, right? We are never perfect, but I am delighted to see that they see the resilience and I'm very positive, calm. I think strategically. They like that I put a plan together and then I execute and I communicate. It's not fun, but it builds resilience. These kind of things are good. Now, what is not good when like people do things intentionally, right? When they create more hurdles than you already have, that's not good. But dealing with life's hardships because of the situation you are in, I think is good to a certain point, right? I would tell you being poor and not having certain things left marks for me. It took me years to recover from these marks. It's always a balance in between how hard it is and what you overcome, because being poor is not easy. It's ingrained in our head to save for dark days
Mm,
when you might be in trouble, and not to overspend and be cautious how we live.
right. Those are good recommendations. The way I'm hearing it and the takeaways I'm getting initially are that with you being so focused, sometimes that leads to haters. Not a lot, but a few of them. You just basically are like, hey, you do you, I'll do me.
And you talk about this in some of your LinkedIn, and I love that. I read that article, by the way, and I talked to my mentors. I shared that article about high achievers and the people that hinder them intentionally, right? I will tell you, you find these people in every culture, every country. We all deal with people. Luckily in US, you have systems that work. So you counter attack those kind of actions. But I will tell you, I have dealt with these kind of situations since I was a child. I have been bullied because I was seen as awkward because my parents did not have money. Like I would have a weird coat, or I will wear the same coat in the spring and the winter because I did not have better. Or I will have that coat and I will sew by my hand something that I can put inside the coat to keep me warm during the winter and remove it. And kids will laugh at me. I had this in college and they will laugh at me because they
Hmm.
had money. I did not. So I had to figure out how to keep myself warm and keep going. And it's funny because even in US, I had people like this kind of people saying like, now we realize you don't compete with us. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Oh, you don't compete with anyone. You are just focused on your dreams. Yeah, everyone has its own dreams. Why would I compete with you? You have your own dreams. I have my own dreams. That's normal, right? And why should I be envious on your dreams? Are your dreams, not mine? Many times, those people that are behaving this way is because they don't have confidence in themselves. And it took me time to learn that. I will tell you what they do. The only way how they fulfill their need for confidence and ego is by hurting others, because they believe that if they hurt you, they gain something, but they
Hmm.
don't. They lose. They even don't realize that that's why they don't achieve their dreams, because instead of them focusing on their dreams, they focus on hindering you. Isn't that funny? When you are young, because I was there. It will frustrate me. I'll cry. They will put me flat on the ground. I would be like damaged for some time. But then it's like, no. What is interesting is that I met one of the bullies that I had that was during the elementary school. I think was grade 7 and 8. She bullied me like you never believe it. And it's funny, I met her later when we were professionals. And she was working for a Romanian company. I was working for a foreign company, doing very well. And I had tuberculosis. So I had to stay at home for 3 months and take 17 pills a day because it started to eat my lungs. I was
Well,
spitting blood. Yeah, it was scary. I fixed that. And everyone was shocked because I fixed it faster than they thought. Because I was so focused. I listened to the doctor. I did what they told me. And I met this lady because I said, I cannot stay home. I want to do something with this time. When I have to stay home, I'm going to learn. So I paid with my own money for a training. And she was the trainer. And it was something that it's funny, right? It is something that I told her that I paid with my own money, and it was a lot of money back then. But in Romania, I started to finally make money as a professional. It was something that will help me with my job. And she talked to me, and I was shocked that she was the one. I was like, I cannot believe that. And life is weird, right? And then she was divorced. She cheated on her husband. I was happily married, having my own apartment finally, like doing very well, being well known in Romania and recognized from my work. And she was shocked, right? And she's like, you are a very interesting person. I'm like, what do you mean by that? She's like, if someone closes the door, you look for the crack. I said, what does this mean? You look for that crack to see how you can get to that crack and get what you want. I'm like, yeah. That's exactly what I do. And it was funny to see, like, I meet my bully, right? And I know what she's doing right now. She's not doing well. She's very sick. She's lonely. So it's very interesting how life works against those people long term.
Yes. Yeah. And that in a way saddens me because it's like they did it to themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, which is sad, very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like even though you almost come to a level where you hate them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. We're humans, right? When you look for a win-win, it multiplies exponentially. But when you look for win-lose or lose-win, it's always lose-lose.
Right.
And people
Right.
don't get this equation, which is so sad.
Yes. I can hear your engineering mind, um, you know, when you say that because I've heard individuals in the sciences sum it up like that too. I mean, it's like it's not a zero sum game. We shouldn't have to say that there's only a limited number of options, and if I get 5 of them and that you think
Yeah,
there's only 5 more left, you know, it's not
yeah.
doesn't work like that. What do you think happens to some people though because they're faced with the same obstacles and they break?
I had people that asked me, what's the formula that I fix my issues and I rise above them? And I said, I don't know the formula. I don't
Mhm,
know if I have a formula.
mhm,
I can tell you what I have done. So you can see if what I have done might work for you, because you can't apply the same formula to every situation, right? It's the same when you have mentors. You have to think through, and or you read books, right? And experiences. And unfortunately, some of the books are too unrealistic, too like dreamy. I would like them to talk about the bad stuff and how they got from the bad stuff to the good stuff, right? Because you look at all these self improvement books and leadership books, and I will tell you that I mess myself up because it's like, why is it so hard? They talk about all these good things, but no one talks about the reality. Everyone talks politically correct, which
yeah,
creates issues with people. And that's what I want to write in my book. I want to discuss about reality. I went to roundtables with students, and the universities will call me again and again because I will not give political correct answers. And I'll have
right.
students calling me after that because I was honest with them. And I said, no, I will not do that. And let me explain to you why. I recommend that. What do you think? And we'll discuss. And then they will do it. And like, you know what? You are correct. That was the right thing. That focus and energy, do not let these naysayers or bullies or people that want to hurt you get to you. I think that's the answer. I'm still working on that. And sometimes I have to talk myself out of different situations because if I don't pay attention, I go to the baseline and I will do it again. I have to be honest, right? Because otherwise, people that will listen will get the message, oh, I have to be perfect. No, you don't. You just have to acknowledge where you are at and make a plan and then work through that. And it's amazing that we talk so much and we feel that we have to answer to everything. No, we don't. Silence is a much better tool to let them wonder, are you an idiot or stupid and you did not understand? Or what is he or she cooking that they don't answer? Should I be concerned? You are in a position where you don't waste your energy in the wrong direction. That's practice. I learn different techniques. Like when I feel the rush, I catch it and I said, okay, Elena, you start taking deep breaths and say nothing, not make a face. And it's amazing how this works immediately. The rush thought, stop.
It's a liberating feeling because I don't have
Mhm.
time for that foolishness.
It's
So,
drama. It's
yeah,
unnecessary. You don't have to. And it was put in situations when, like you said, I would say, you know what, excuse me, I have to really go to a meeting. I have something urgent. Can we catch up in 1 hour? Or I would say, let's take a 5 minute break because it seems that the meeting is getting heated. I think we have to think a little bit through that.
I just want people to learn those things younger and younger. The longer it takes you to learn that concept, the longer you stay stuck.
Yes, completely agree with what you said. You said it very well. You control yourself, right? You can't control anyone else. And this is what many people don't understand. You look and it's like, why is this so wrong? Why is he or she doing that? I don't understand. So you focus on the wrong direction instead of saying, what can I do on my side?
My dad used to say that to me. I remember talking to him when I was 22 or 23, and he was like saying, "You can't control people." And I was hearing, "Can't influence people." In my mind, that was what the word control meant. And I said, "Yes, you can." He's like, "No, you can't." And I'm like, "Yes, you can." He's like, "No, you can't." He's no longer living, but if we had that conversation now, I'd be like, "You're right. You can't."
I was there. I completely understand because I did the same things. And when I start that I'm stuck, I'm like, I have to read books. I have to like talk to people. Why? Why? And looking for that answer, right? What I did, I look for the answer. And many people want to have a magic answer or one tool or a pill to just solve the problem. You can't. You have to put the work in. And it takes energy to focus on that and put the work on yourself and let the other things that are outside of you do their whatever.
There's this one funny meme that's on the internet. It can be taken the wrong way, but it's kind of funny if you take it the right way. And it talks about like working on yourself and not getting all caught up in what's going on around you. And it says, "Not my circus, not my monkeys."
Oh, yes, I love that quote. My daughter uses it, by the way. She even has the quote in her dorm room. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Take it back. I don't have enough food to feed your monkeys. I have my own monkeys. I am very proud of her. The scholarship she got, and she's studying molecular biology, and she wants to go on the medical track. She wants to save lives. That's why we came US, right? For opportunities. We came here, we start from nothing and seeing where we're at today, right? 20 years later in February. It is amazing because that's why we came here. So our children will have better opportunities and she got it. And she continues to work hard, life in college because we want her to have fun, and live her youth. But she grasped the fact that it's up to her to get those opportunities because they exist. America has many opportunities. All these kids that do not have the money, they can get those opportunities. And oh my gosh, I wish I would be their age.
I'm sure that a lot of that mindset she got from you.
We tried and we are happy to see that she saw it because we also show her the other side of the coin, right? We traveled to Romania. She saw where we are coming from. She was there just for 2 weeks at a time, a few times when we had money to travel, and we work with refugees. And she was 8 years old and she will help those kids with their homework and will go in their homes. And it was dangerous, will go in very dangerous neighborhoods and said, Eileen, this is the type of life I'm coming from. Showing her that type of life and also getting her to work with those kids, help her see things differently, which was very important, right? So she became humbled and not thinking that instant gratification, she deserves everything and she doesn't have to work for. It's extremely important to work for those things. They don't come for free.
And I think it's underrated. Yeah, it's great to get paid, but if you can volunteer your time, it becomes more altruistic, I think. Experience becomes extremely meaningful. So hopefully more parents and schools will think of that. They've got something where you can kind of volunteer your time. You got to do volunteer hours, but every time I look at that and I see more about it, that it gets watered down. It's like, okay, cut someone's grass. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but you got to kind of get dirty, getting there and helping people with stuff that is really, really human to human. That's so important. And sometimes it's very sad stuff too. And I know helping a senior with their yard work is, I'm not trying to denigrate that. But when you see people and you realize that you were not there, it might be very debilitating on them, or they can share with you how they got there and you can help them get up from there. That's what your daughter had with those children, using that as a real example. I remember you talking about that last time about the one who had gotten into trouble and you
Mhm.
told him, hey, you can turn this around. And you talk about where you came from. He's like, you were there. I love
Mhm.
that experience because it seemed like he opened his eyes. Sometimes people see you coming as the white knight, but then when they realize that you actually came from where they are, then you become more important, I think.
And they see a way because many times they don't see a way. I contacted Marta Nino because I'm now involved in organizing a STEM conference for young girls. It's very interesting because so many of those speakers come from very rich environments. I was not aware of that, Jean. I will tell you, I was very naive. I listened to their stories and I realized that many of the people, including immigrants, they come from families with money 2 or 3 generations ago with college degrees, where my grandparents were farmers with dirt on the floor, no electrical power in the home, right? Candles and no running water. Very different, right? Of course, they are successful here in US. And many of those kids that we want to get in STEM, they come from very similar environments with what I had or Marta has, where you did not have the means, you did not have the money, you struggle, you did not have connections, your parents were not college graduates, sometimes not even high school graduates. When you listen to those people that speak, you can relate to them because they did not have the hurdles that you have. They don't understand and you don't understand how to get there. You don't see a way to get there. I want Marta to talk to those kids because I want someone else with that kind of experience. And I told the organizers, I want someone that comes from the environment, similar with so many of these students. And then they can connect with us and we can help them get there. What to do with that college degree, how to network, who to network with. Because we learned the hard way. We did not know. And we were trying to find answers. But now we can tell you how to do that. Because the more people are educated and the more people are doing better, the better the society is. And I can't say, like, oh, I am a CEO. But comparing with where I'm coming from and where I'm at, I am very successful because I'm independent. And this is what I want those kids to understand, that success is also being independent, having enough money to support your family, having savings. This is also success. And compare yourself with how far you came. Not everyone needs to be a CEO. You can be happy being a manager, being an engineer, being a doctor. You can be very happy and very successful in that role. And I also mentor people like I have one, he is a Vietnamese refugee. I put career paths together. I gave them opportunities because your most important job as a manager is to develop talent. This kiddo sees the job and says, Elena, I want to apply. I'm like, yes, come and interview. We'll see what you can do. And we needed an entry level. We hired him for a much better salary. The kiddo started learning. I left the company, but he was with the supervisor that helped him, which is a great leader. And now he is like, Elena, I want to grow. 1 year and a half later, what do I do? I'm like, I will say apply for jobs and let's discuss. And now he is an engineering technician. So
Wow.
2 years later, and this is what excites me. I mentor him without, like, I don't ask anything, no money, nothing, but seeing his growth, this is what excites me, right? Because I multiply what I know. And he's getting married. He's doing very well, earning much more money, or like learning, being excited about going to work. And I said, now the next step is I want to see you in the college because we discussed this 2 years ago. Now L3 can help you get into college and pays for your college. So I want you to think about that. So we are meeting in October and we'll discuss about this. This is where I see that I bring value, right? I try to mentor everyone that needs an advice. At work, I have people that ask me, what will you do in this case? Or I want to grow, what will you do? And I'm happy to give advices and put them in contact with other people because I like multiplying.
That is a great word, multiplying, because you could just be self absorbed and saying, what's in it for me? And there'd be no multiplication taking place. Yeah, it's so easy just to be worrying about three people, me, myself, and I.
But that's a sad part because as a human, what do you leave behind? I'm leaving behind a really good child that will help the society, is effective, is productive, is a good human being. And I also leave all these people that I work with or friends that I helped or advised or supported when it was hard for them, a good family, all these things are important. These are the good things, right? The good memories. What's your mark on this earth? And your mark on this earth is not just money and companies, it's also how you impacted the life of those people.
There's somebody listening to this podcast and before they heard you, they were thinking about, I just want more money, I want a bigger house, I want a better car. I'm not hating on those things, but now they're thinking, how can I impact the life now? I think that's the more valuable thing.
Like doing these kind of things really fulfills your soul and heart as a
Mhm.
human being. And it's so funny, Jim. You know what? In my entire life, I never thought about money. I'm not a career climber. I don't care about titles. If you look at my career, I have been a plan manager. I have an associate director. I have been a project manager. It's not about titles. It's about the impact that I have on society, business, value. And sometimes I took pay cut. When I joined Northrop Grumman, I took a pay cut, 25% to come back to Northrop Grumman because I saw what kind of things they were doing and I want to be part of it. I'm getting back to my former salary, not there yet, but I'm looking at the value that I bring and
Mhm.
how can I help in a title. It helps with expanding the value because you get on the ladder and then you impact more people. And that's how I'm looking. And it's funny, I never thought that money, but money came because I was passionate about what I was doing. And I was
Right.
passionate about what's the value I bring. And it's so funny because my people in my team, when I got into the job in this role, everyone wanted a promotion because they wanted more money and they needed more money. And I said, guys, I get it. But what is the value proposition that you have for the business? And everyone looks at me like, what? And I said, what's the value proposition? Because, by the way, when I got this promotion, here are the slides with my value proposition, what I have done and what I can do. And it's funny, I did career path with them and work on the value proposition. It took them a few months to get there because they were scatterbrained everywhere. And I said, you are not focusing. You want this or this? What do you want?
Mhm.
Oh, like look at what you wrote there. Previous managers did not work with them on the career path. I did. Was the most important thing because you want to grow talent. You want to leave people behind you that will do a good job. You want to see them growing. And also, if you want to grow, someone needs to be able to support that department, right? It was interesting to work with them and get to where they wanted and see a path, and now they got it. And some of
Mhm.
them had been promoted because they prove the value that they bring and what other value they can bring. Some of them are waiting, they have to develop some skills, but they have a path.
That's so well explained, Elena, and again, there's somebody listening here who says, "I make X amount. I wanna make more than this amount. What job will give it to me?" They're not really focused on the career path, just focused on the dollar.
If you look, every person is in an enterprise working for another enterprise. So you always have to know how to market yourself and also scan the market. Are my skills up to date? Are my skills needed? What other skills I need to build, right? So I can do what I like to do. You don't do 100% what you want to do. Maybe 60, 70%. That's a really good thing, right? Because part of the job is not always pleasant. It's life.
Mhm.
This how
Mm.
everything works, right? So people need to understand that. But they should think like I'm an enterprise, I work for another enterprise. How can I make myself valuable? What I enjoy doing and what else do I need to learn? And how do I get there?
You touched on your book that you're formulating in your mind. Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit more about that? I know you're still in the infancy stages of the concept, but it sounds so interesting.
Every chapter needs to be a lesson. The preface, I want to say, guys, I'm one of you. I'm a normal person. I'm not the CEO. I'm not the founder. And here are some lessons that I want to share. I want to share my experiences, and you learn and pick what is valuable for you. But I want you to know that you have hope. You have much more hope than our parents had. And it is a way to get what you want, but mostly it's you. What I learned is I have to control myself and I have to work on myself. If I want different results, I might have to change the environment. But are some lessons that I want to share with you from a perspective of a very normal human being like any of you. And I want people to learn that you can build a good life. Social mobility exists. I'm one of the tens of thousands of immigrants that come in US every year. Why do you think we come in US? Because it offers opportunities. Take these opportunities because some of them you get so much help like college degrees and scholarships. Maybe your parents don't have money. So grab them. US is still the country with the most opportunities in the world, no matter what others say. Because I work in other countries and I know how it is. We'll not be here today if we stayed in Europe. First of all, Europe has a high ego. Why they have a high ego? Because they have a very old history. They did not have people from other nationalities in their country. Plus, that people that came in their country that were immigrants usually will do very basic work, fields, farms, maybe like an operator, something like that. So I know Romanians that emigrated in countries like Belgium, and they had been told by Belgians about 20 years ago, why did you come in my country? You are taking my job. That type of mentality still exists. Look at what happened with UK. They got out of European community because they had a lot of immigrants. But now they can't find people to do the work because English people don't want to do the work. US, it's a country of immigrants. That's why it was built to give opportunity to all the other people that did not have opportunities in other countries. I might be too optimistic, because I would say I'm a success story, but I look to all other immigrants that I know, and they build really good lives.
That's so revealing too, because I was looking at a picture of you and a picture of a Belgian. I couldn't tell the difference.
That's the perception, right? It is what it is. And people are who they are, right? And it saddens me when I hear like, oh, US is so racist. Oh, US. Oh, US. No, it's not.
Relatively speaking, I can see where you're coming from because it's like, oh my goodness, if you don't have color differences, then
Yeah.
people will take it down to the level of cultural differences. Come on, people.
We are people. It's just
Yeah.
how do you say, the package? Different color, different dye. I don't care. We are people, and having this diversity in understanding and knowledge and culture, it's so important
Yeah.
for communities, for businesses, because this is where the best ideas and the best work happen and the best successes when we understand our differences and we become allies, seeing what connects us and what we can do together.
You're going to be the last episode that I'm doing for the season, and then I'll be starting up again in January. You're going to end this off with a bang, Elena.
I hope so, and I hope that the people that listen try to see what they can do with their lives and their dreams to achieve them. I want each of the people to get after those dreams, no matter how small they might think they are.
That's wonderful. So we want to keep following you and find out about this amazing book that's going to come to life gradually because we all want to buy it.
And I'm going to write it because now you keep me accountable. And I love that. These are the type of friends you want to have.
I keep you accountable because you're amazing and I want this thing. I want this thing. It's so many good things you have learned over your lifespan. I always get excited when I have an idea and you think it's good. I'm like, oh, that validates my idea.
What was hard for me, Jean, is that I'm thinking I'm a normal person, right? So I'm thinking, why would someone wants to read my book? I'm a normal person. I'm not doing anything extraordinary, right? But then I look around and I see how many people can benefit from it, and just understand that being normal and not being a CEO or VP or a founder, that also means success.
That is so important for us all to realize. I think that wraps us up pretty good because you have made your point.
Yes, I hope so.